Jerry Jones, I put this on you too. Jerry Jones, you know I love the Dallas Cowboys. I wake up in the morning, I snuggle up my wife and I'm thinking about the Cowboys. What I'm going to talk about on my morning blog, I'm at my day job. I'm working. I've got every single alert that's on there, so when something happens on the Dallas Cowboys, I know about it and I can spread the word on it. I go to games. I spend my money. First don't. Because the reality is, as bad as my team has played, losing 2 games in a row, Philly, you can win against Miami Dolphins, and we're still ahead of you because your team stinks even worse than mine. That's all I got to say about that. But one last thing.
Now, why would you do that, Mark? Why would you do that, Mark? Lil Brunson back at you with the back at you, and I am the best reporting on the Eagles. Listen here, Mark. You went from being Marquisha to Mark. Finally, Mark, finally, those dried up prunes you call testicles are starting to drop, Mark. Finally. Now, listen, you got to understand what comes with the ramifications of playing with me like that. You know what I'm saying? First of all, if you're going to make a video, this is not personal. I just do this. First of all, if you're going to make a video and you're going to talk about, something that I said, please have the proper context. Now, the video that you took the little feed down from Hot Dog Head. Now, if you don't know who Hot Dog Head is, I suggest you do some research on what I do. Now, from the video, when Hot Dog Head did his little thing, his little rebuttal to something that I said before he asked me to leave him alone. Same thing what you did, but we're going to talk about that later. So the video that Hot Dog Head put up, it's not, you didn't explain it in the proper context, Mark. You're talking about me saying the Dallas Cowboys don't have any history. No, Mark, no. The point of that video was this, Mark, for you guys to properly explain the history to your Dallas Cowboys fans. Listen, we know your history so well. We know that's the one thing that nobody can really attack you guys on. We know your history, Mark, but do you really pay attention to the history? Do you understand why you guys are who you are? Listen, we know about the 70s, Mark. I think you guys made the playoffs every year in the 70s. I think you guys made the playoffs like every year up until like 83 or something like that. Correct me if I'm wrong. But you guys were kind of set up for success. Now, I look at these things in eras, Mark. I look at these things. I'm going to talk to Mark. I'm going to talk to you Dallas Cowboys fans for a minute. Before I talk about, other things. I look at these things in eras, Mark. It's 2 eras of football. You got before free agency / salary cap and after free agency / salary cap. You guys ain't done nothing. You guys really haven't mastered free agency and salary cap, if you ask me. Listen, man, here goes some fun facts that you might not know. Dak Prescott got more picks than Mitchell Trubisky. This season we're going to talk about. This season. Free agency was implemented in 1993. So that big 3 that the Dallas Cowboys had back in the day, the one that consists of Troy Aikman, Emmitt Smith, and what's the other dude? What's that dude? Oh, Michael Irvin. The one that consists of those 3 guys, that big 3 was already put in place before free agency even started. Now, that might not mean a lot to you, Mark, but that means a lot to people who can use their thinking cap. So if you already had your big 3, listen, your big three was already listen, Troy Aikman and Michael Irvin were there before Jerry Jones. I'm pretty sure you know that, Mark, since you're so big on history, Mark. Those guys were already in place before free agency kicked in. They were already in place before the salary cap rules kicked in. So you know what you guys did to get to where you got to go. We know about the simple things, Mark. 20 plus years not getting past the divisional round. You guys been trashed since then, Mark. Here's another fun fact, Mark. 2 presidents have been impeached since the last time you guys been in a conference game. Here's another one, Mark. You won 2 playoff games. The last time you won 2 playoff games in the playoff season. Listen, let me define something for you guys. A playoff run is winning multiple playoffs in the postseason. The Dallas Cowboys haven't been on a playoff run since 1996. February 25th, 1989, Jerry Jones bought the Dallas Cowboys. In 1989, you had a one-win season. You had a one-win season with Troy Aikman. Yeah. With Troy Aikman and with who's his name? Michael Irvin. You had a one-win season with those guys. Now, In 1993, free agency is implemented. So what does that help you guys do? You one-win team. 1993, free agency actually helps you. You know, you're the Dallas Cowboys. You got this hot new owner making all this noise. You got Troy Aikman. You got Michael Irvin coming into the ball game. So now free agents want to come to you guys, man. They want to come to you guys now. So you start putting together that Great Wall. The Great Wall of Dallas, I think is what they used to call it. February, what was that? February 89, the Herschel Walker trade happened. Now, I already did a video on this, Mark. So you should already, if you want to know that I know the history, I already talked about Herschel Walker, how you guys fleeced the Minnesota Vikings for all those picks that got you, I think, Darren Woodson, that got you Emmitt Smith. Y'all did a good job by fleecing those guys and building through the draft. You did do that. Herschel Walker was traded in 89. Charles Haley came. Charles Haley was traded in 1992. 1992, you guys traded for Charles Haley prior to the free agency being established. What does that mean? Now, if you're cool with another owner, like Jerry Jones was a likable guy, you can make a trade happen. Free agency wasn't around when you guys traded for Charles Haley, to my knowledge. Correct me if I'm wrong, since you're the historian here, Mark. Free agency wasn't around. So you guys weren't able to, the 49ers weren't able to just release him. The only way he can go to another team was by a trade, and the Dallas Cowboys capitalized on that. You know, we'll talk about the Great Wall of Dallas again. Y'all were still building that. You guys were able to get that nice young tight end, Novacek, I think, Novak, whatever his name, in free agency. The downfall of you guys, Michael Irvin, he was the first piece of the puzzle. Michael Irvin is probably the one of the second most arrogant Dallas Cowboy in Cowboys history. Michael Irvin with the hotel shenanigans, getting caught up in all that, you know, the downfall of Michael Irvin. Russell Maryland left in free agency. You know, the free agency that helped y'all, it start biting you in the butt. You haven't mastered it. You know how, you know, it helped you, but you didn't figure out how to make it help you again. He left. 1996, Troy Aikman had a beef with the coach. The offense took a step back in 1996, Mark, if you really want to be real. Now, if I'm going too fast, understand this. Understand this if I'm going too fast, Dallas Cowboys and Eagles Nation. I'm talking about history. See, the only history that Mark and the Cowboys want to zero in on is this. They want to zero in on the 70s and the 90s, the good part about the history. But this is the real history. To your young Dallas Cowboys fans who've never seen a Super Bowl, that was the context of the video that you want to chop up, Mark. Your young Dallas Cowboys fans never seen a Super Bowl, Mark. This is the history that they know, Mark. This is the history that they know. And you're right about a few things, Mark. I'm a young man, Mark. This is the history that I know about the Dallas Cowboys. You haven't done anything since the year 2000. 20 years ago, Mark. It's about to be 2020, Mark. You have not, I repeat, have not. I can take it a step further, Mark. We can go 99, 98, 97. You have not been past the divisional round in the playoffs. You have not won more than one playoff game in the same season, Mark. The entire new millennium. You see what I'm saying, Mark? And this century, Mark, in this current century that we're in, Mark, the 20th century, Mark, the Dallas Cowboys have been basura, winning one playoff game tops. Tony Romo, this is the history that the young Dallas Cowboys know. Tony Romo done nothing for you. If you guys got this much history, you know, history is history. If you guys are as relevant as you want me to believe, now, this is the craziest thing. This is what a Dallas Cowboy fan gonna tell me. This is how I know that they don't pay attention. A Dallas Cowboy fan left a comment under the post. He left a comment under the post saying this, that the Dallas Cowboys and the Philadelphia Eagles have non-division wins since 95, something like that. I think 17 playoff appearances apiece since 95, something like that. So we're equal in a couple categories since 95. So if the Dallas Cowboys are irrelevant, we're just as irrelevant. Since the year 2000, young buck, young punk, the Philadelphia Eagles have been to 6 NFC championship games, 2 Super Bowls, 1 Super Bowl win. The Dallas Cowboys have not done any of that. You see what I'm saying? So I was trying to get you Dallas Cowboys content creators to be real with the young Dallas Cowboys fans. All y'all know is talking about 5 rings this, 5 rings that, 5 rings this, 5 rings that. And you know, Mark, man, Mark, I'm disappointed in you, Mark. I'm real disappointed in you, Mark. You know, Kyle Pizzle has gotten you out of your element this season. I blame Kyle Pizzle for creating this monster we call pulled pork. Kyle Pizzle is the one who got you drinking heavily, cursing in the camera. Kyle Pizzle did that. Mark. When I wanted to have a friendly debate with you, you text me this. and asked me to leave you alone because the trolls was coming after you and your son. And then you turn around 10 months later to take a video 10 months old and probably more than that, to take a video like, what, a year old and chop it up. See what you're doing, Mark? I know exactly what you're doing, Mark. And I love to see you doing it, Mark. What you're doing, Mark, is you're trying to get some attention right now, Mark. We've been watching you the last 4 weeks, Mark. We've been watching you, Mark. I watched you evolve from Marquisha to Mark. I watched it, and I'm proud of your evolution. I'm glad you're starting to get some hair on your chest and you want to talk to people. I'm glad, Mark, but I watched Cop Pizzle change you. Literally changed you. I watched Cop Pizzle get you out of character, Mark. Don't think for a second because you sit behind that nice desk, Mark, you drink coffee and you play with doll babies, that you're better than anybody that does this content thing, Mark. Because Mark, this is what I do know, Mark. This is what I do know, Mark. If you really thought in your heart of hearts that you was better than me, you wouldn't be talking to me. You wouldn't be talking to me, which is why you talk to 500 so much. You know we're good, Mark. You know we good at this, Mark. You knew I would be coming back, Mark. Now, I'm going to smack you around with all facts, but the thing that's bothering me is you're not being real with the young Dallas Cowboys fans. And you asked me to leave you alone, but you want to come knocking on my door now. If you want to be left alone, Mark, be left alone. Because you know, Mark, I got real tough skin. I know it's a difference in age between us. You want to throw them little things. Oh, I know you're a young man. You might not know history. Well, I tell you what evolved on me before it evolved on you. Tough skin, Mark. Tough skin, Mark. You can't stand the fact that the Dallas Cowboys have been inadequate. They've been inadequate. They've been doing nothing, Mark. We see you, Mark. We can look at your last 10 videos and tell that you are in disarray, Mark. If the Dallas Cowboys lose to the Philadelphia Eagles, Mark, I don't even know if you'll be around anymore, Mark. You strike me as that person, Mark. I don't even know if you'll make a video, Mark. The Dallas Cowboys have no recent history. That was the context of that, and that's not a lie. That's not a lie. That's not a lie, Mark. The Arizona Cardinals have a better recent 20 years than the Dallas Cowboys. They've been in the Super Bowl. Just call a spade, Mark. Just call a spade, Mark. Y'all garbage. Y'all been garbage for 20 years. And you have brung your son into this, Mark. You said this out of your own words. Michael Anthony Fitness, you and Michael Anthony Fitness, Mark, are right now, what y'all both did. I watched that video, Mark. All I seen in that video was I envisioned a stripper pole down the middle of y'all while y'all sitting in the car and both of y'all dancing on a pole for me. For what? I don't want to see that. You don't need attention that bad, do you, Mark? You don't need me. But I will happily oblige, Mark, to let you know that the Dallas Cowboys ain't what everybody think they is. Y'all 7-7, and y'all 7-7 with a way better, healthier roster than the Philadelphia Eagles. We're 7-7 with IR injury-plagued rosters, Mark. That's the facts. That's the current state, Mark. Go back to the last 20 years, Mark. The last 20 years, Mark, that's all you got to do. When Michael Anthony Fitness was a young bull, go back to the last 20 years, Mark. How good have you been in the last 20 years? I don't care about... See, this is what kills me about the Dallas Cowboys. They love to skip past the 80s. They would like you to believe that the 80s and the 2000s ain't happened. They want you to believe it. They want you to think that time started in the 70s. It took a break, then time resumed in the early 90s. Just to fit them. No, that ain't how it worked. Time keeps going. A new football season is played every year. And all you guys' early success has been trumped. It's been trumped. I'm sorry to tell you that. Your early success has been trumped. Franchises have passed you. Franchises have passed you. You're not America's team. Even though I can't stand the cheating Patriots. In 1995, when y'all won y'all last Super Bowl, guess how many Super Bowls the Patriots had? 0, Mark. Now how many they got?